Hey Trinity, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're healthy. I hope that your families are healthy and that things are going well for you in these difficult times. But I'm coming to you with hope that I have some hopeful words for you this morning. So, some thoughts that I specifically have. Usually on a Sunday morning when we're in worship here together, I come down out of the pulpit and I ask you, where is it that you've seen Christ in your lives this week? And I didn't ask that last Sunday as we were recording the worship service in my home. And I think cut that section out of the online video from the week previous to that because, again, I wanted to respect the privacy of those that are here. But I think it's an important question. It still remains to be an important question of where is it that you have seen Christ in your lives throughout this pandemic? Whether that's in keeping your family and loved ones healthy, or whether it's in the ways that you've been able to connect, or the time that you've been able to gain with your children and your family. There's got to be places where you've seen Christ in your lives, and I know that it'll be different for each of us, and I'm going to invite you to put that in the comment sections below today. But if we don't ask that question as we go through this pandemic, where is it that you have seen Christ throughout this, then I think that we run the risk of being like Mary and Martha from this passage that we're going to be talking about here in a second. In the lectionary for this coming Sunday, we have the Gospel of John, the 11th chapter, verses 1 through 45, and it's the story of Lazarus and his dying and Jesus bringing him back from the dead. And so I'm going to encourage you to read that. I'm going to put it in the comment sections below so that you can read that. But John chapter 11 verses 1 through 45 is what we'll be reading if you want to go to your own Bible as well for that. But what I want you to consider within that is, so how is it that the characters are coming to this? So Lazarus is not doing well, and his sisters, Martha and Mary, send word to Jesus, hey, get here soon, we know that you can heal him, hurry up and get here. And travel's not what travel is today back then, and so they work their way in that direction, but Jesus just isn't quick enough and doesn't get there in time. And as Martha sees Jesus approaching the house, she runs out to Jesus and she says, if only you were here. Only you were here, because they know that Jesus had the ability to heal and that it would be a different outcome. Then we hear the same exact words come from her younger sister Mary as Mary comes across Jesus for the first time and she's grieving over the loss of Lazarus, and she says, if only you were here. I don't want us to come out of the end of our social distancing, in the end of this pandemic, and think about how horrible it was, and look to God and look to Jesus and say, if only you were here. Because Jesus, in his own way that he does, is just going to say to you, child, I've been here to begin with. I was here with you that night that you made cookies with the family. I was here with you that day when the teachers had a parade throughout the town of Clearfield. I was here with you on that day when you answered those questions and listened to those horrible jokes that Pastor TJ left on the trivia feed. So, guys, Christ is here. But I think we all need that reminder of that Christ is still in our lives, even though we're living these separated lives right now where we seem recluse and not able to be our own welcoming selves as we normally are. And it's, in some ways, we've lost an identity piece to us because we've lost how to be in community without this tool. And I think we've learned many things from the internet in these last few weeks of how to connect with one another. And I'm so grateful that we have these tools and that we have been able to connect in the ways that we have. But there's some of us that aren't as quick to adopt some of these practices or to try some of these things. And so my question to you is, can you help each and every one of us? Leave a comment below. If you're on YouTube, you do have to join the YouTube services, but if you have a Gmail account, YouTube's owned by Google, and so by logging in with your Gmail account, you'll be logged in and you'll be able to leave a comment in the video. If that's not comfortable for you, you can also leave a comment in the Facebook section where I'll tag this photo too. But the question is where have you seen Jesus in your life throughout this whole pandemic? From what I've seen, and just an insight to pieces, I think more and more people have taken in more and more worship services. Now, granted, our worship services are maybe more often or more more regular, so we're having devotions throughout the middle of the week through certain churches, and the pastors are coming to us with messages like this one that aren't on a Sunday morning, and they're not an hour long, and they're not 30 minutes long. But on worship on Sunday, we had a 30-minute worship, but how many of you were able to take in another church's worship service as well, because you had an old pastor that was your pastor once that you wanted to check in on? Or how many of you were reaching out to another church, another family member, and attending church with them as well as attending ours? I think we have found Christ in more places than what we normally have, and I think that that's something that's worth letting each other know and knowing that we've experienced it. So the question remains, as it is always when I come out of that pulpit, where is it that you've seen Christ in your lives this week? And I'm asking you that question because I can't allow you to be like a Mary and like a Martha and have Jesus approach you after this pandemic and you say, if only you were here, it wouldn't have been this bad. Because Jesus is going to tell you, I've been here all along. And look what I can do now that you are faithful and that I am with you. So let us go to God and let us go into this world with the knowledge that we carry Christ with us and that we just need to open our eyes and see Jesus. Thanks, Trinity, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.